This is a Beyblade. But this is my Beyblade. And this is my Giant Beyblade Machine. Powered by 3D printed gears, duct tape belts, and a clever release mechanism to cause complete destruction.
Holy shit! You good? I do not feel safe doing that.
This is my second time on this project, and when I first attempted this build, the goal was to make a machine that could spin a giant saw blade like a Beyblade, powered by a belt attached to an exercise bike. But since we're here, you know that didn't work. My Beyblade machine was a complete mess. The belt would fall off, the wheels would slip, and the whole thing had no balance, so when I tried to use the horrible release mechanism, it just broke. So with all of that in mind, it was time to dive into the main issue from my first prototype: slippage. The main wheel responsible for changing the axes of rotation kept slipping, and I struggled for a long time to fix it.
Can you stop narrating? I'm trying to concentrate.
Oh shoot, sorry. Actually, you know what? Let me just do it. This guy's completely useless. As you can see here, there are actually two issues. First, the gear slips. And second, the wheel is too big and gets in the way of the pedals. Therefore, I moved it slightly, but now there's an upwards force.
Okay, Matt, I think I've got it.
Oh yeah? What's that?
Gears.
That doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah, but we're like the same person. You know this already.
Oh yeah.
We immediately got to work. Matt was right. If we wanted this to work, he was going to need to use his 3D modeling software to make a gear. But there's a reason he's been staying away from gears.
You see, gears aren't as simple as you may think. They've got this really complex profile, which is defined by like 20 parameters. Take these gears for example. On one side we've got the spur gear, and on the other side we have the crown gear. And yes, those are teeth marks, just don't pay attention to them. And even these small, poorly done gears just don't work perfectly. There really is just no cutting corners. There's no way to make gears quickly. No way.
There's no way to make gears quickly.
Are you fucking serious? Apparently there is an easy way to make gears. It's called making somebody else do the work. And look at that. It took some trial and error, but they seem to have printed pretty well. And with a little hot glue, they attached perfectly. What is that noise, man? Okay, I lied to you, but the reason I used hot glue is because it comes off easily when put in the freezer, which I'm sure will cause no negative side effects in the future. And after readjusting, it actually did work perfectly. So I screwed the dowel down, and it was time to move on to the next issue to be solved. One of the biggest short sights of my first design was the lack of a mechanism that allows the blade to keep spinning after I've finished pedaling. But you know what has one of those? Bikes.
What the?
The mechanism is called a ratchet and pawl mechanism, and instead of making one, I just took the back wheel off of two bikes. Guys, I'm turning into Justin Trudeau again. My plan so far was resting on these bike wheels, meaning I would need a good grip on the free hub which contains the ratchet. And something I learned is that any iPhone with LiDAR can take 3D scans. So after exporting from my iPhone, importing to Blender, exporting from Blender, importing to Onshape, creating a mold, and cutting it in half, I was finally able to 3D print an object that, theoretically, would perfectly grip the free hub.
Ow!
Close enough. Alright, so a new dilemma has exposed itself. The wheel wants to turn this way, but the whole system turns this way. That doesn't work, which means instead of this being on top, it has to be flipped and put on the bottom. Now the big issue with this is this. It wobbles like crazy. So I went ahead and printed some stabilizing adapters that perfectly fit the wheel, and it actually works. So I'm very, very happy with that. Now that being said, I am still going to add a stabilizer up here, something that comes over from the side and stabilizes from the top as well.
Oh, hey, what's up, Dan? Oh, hi, Bob. Oh, it looks like we're connecting now. Yo, who's this little guy? Why is he pushing us around? Ooh, I kind of like that.
Well, it's a lot easier when the tools do the work for you. With the frame complete, I still needed a way to attach the belt wheel to a wooden dowel, which could finally be connected to the Giant Beyblade. And if you recall, for most of the parts, I just used hot glue to stick them together. And this is because it comes off easily in the freezer. And then I realized I glued it together incorrectly. Now what I didn't calculate was that I was hot gluing to a bike wheel. How was I supposed to fit that in the freezer? Oh, that's how. Well, with the hot glue unstuck, I could focus on drilling a hole in the dowel to connect it to the wheel, and then sanding down the hole it was fitting into.
Oh no, I cut it myself.
Only then could I properly fit things together. And that just left the additional support I mentioned before, which was assembled on top.
Alright, well, I'd say I'm pretty happy with how it's come out so far. I mean, I think without the blade, it's actually pretty safe, even if... Ow! 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 Oh my god! Note to self, don't put your face near gears, I guess. Who would have thought? Anyways, let's go work on the release mechanism.
Okay, so I think this is the first design. It looks like the one.
Here's the second
after
design.
I added
Now
an
this looks
extra
like the
layer
third
in
and
there
fourth
so that it would
iteration.
actually see
I
this
think
one
this
grow.
is like the seventh or the eighth.
This one's
at this
pretty.
point.
Honestly,
just
whatever. I want to die. I think I've finally got it, and I feel like I deserve a round of applause if I'm being honest. Because this took me a very, very long time. Let me show you the details. Pre-tapped holes is just where this work of art begins. The release mechanism is held together by a spring, and if we take a look inside, we'll see threads that perfectly hold onto the steel bar. And if you'll allow me, I think I'll do a demonstration with the belt. Ready? Ooh. It's wobbling. That was spinning! That was my first time, by the way. Okay, so we're on to the final addition, which is the belt and the tensioner. Now last time, the belt fell off pretty relentlessly, so my idea here is a simple one. I'm going to 3D print 2 hubs that can guide the belt and can be attached by springs to add tension, hence the name tensioner. So I screwed a few holes in to allow for the support to push through, and then added the tensioner itself. Then I added a few more screws on the bottom for extra support, and then finally I strapped on the belt, connecting it with more duct tape. And I think my excitement speaks for itself. Yes! Alright, well my Giant Beyblade machine is finally finished, and now I just need to move it to the backyard. How am I going to move it to the backyard? The answer, my friends, is that we're not. Welcome to my front yard, and welcome to the ultimate Beyblade Showdown! To kick off today's festivities, we will not be using the Giga Giant blade, but instead a humble tiny blade. I mean, to be fair, I've never actually tested that this thing works. I hope it works. Oh, c'est bon, no? No, I can't. Why? Why? Why would you open? Take 2. Moving up in the world. It's gonna work this time. Stop wobbling, please. As I began the 5th attempt, most of my hope for this project to be a success was completely lost. But then there was a glimmer of hope. Yo! Take 7. And as it started getting dark, and I pedaled with all of my might, we finally captured greatness. Holy shit! Okay, maybe not greatness, but at least above mediocre.
Matt, it stopped spinning.
That's okay. This is the best day of my life. And then everything fucking exploded. No. So I glued it back together. And maybe out of spite, and maybe out of anger, I just started pedaling as fast as I could. And using the speedometer, we could actually calculate that the blade was going about 75 kilometers per hour. And then the latch exploded.
This thing sucks. They always give up.
So with my patience running out, I hooked up both belts to the bike for maximum power, and we progressed to our final set of tests. The food tests. My trusty sidekick, my brother, was volunteered to hold the cucumber. It did not go well.
You good? I don't feel safe doing that. Did you cut yourself? Yep. You did cut yourself? Not bad.
So as my final act of dedication to this project, I put my fingers on the line to see if my giant Beyblade rig could take down a single cucumber.
Oh! Yeah, baby! Straight through!
And now that I knew a cucumber was possible, would a watermelon be possible?
Watermelon. Ah! I don't want it. Oh my god.
No, it wasn't. And then it exploded. Again. Okay, well, I think my project's done. It turns out that not every story has a happy ending. In this case, my giant Beyblade machine wasn't strong enough for a true Beyblade battle. But I can promise you, this won't be the last time you'll be seeing him.